Let's talk about the insert or pushback function in a vector class. Now, the reason why I want to talk about this function, pushback, when we go to add a new element to the end of a vector, is because it can touch on a lot of other functionality that's required of the vector. So conceptually, let's imagine that we have a vector with 3 elements in it currently. To keep things very simple, I'm going to assume that this vector is storing integers. Let's say it stores the values 10, 20, and 30. And then I want to call the pushback function, and I'm going to give it the value of 40. I want to add the number 40 to the end of my vector. Now, if my vector under the hood is currently at its capacity, if the capacity and size are both currently 3, that means that I have used up all the space that I already have allocated, right? So inside my pushback function, it'll need to do a couple things. The first thing is it needs to allocate an additional block of memory. You need to have that new operator create the new block of memory first so that you can transfer this memory over to it, or transfer this data over to it. So the first step would be to create and allocate a new block of memory that is much larger, right? If we go with one of the standard operating assumptions for capacity, let's just say whenever we reach the capacity and we need to expand, we'll double it. So we're going to adjust our capacity to 6. We are going to allocate a new block of memory that's somewhere here, and we're going to ask for something that is double the current capacity. Then the next step is, now remember our size is still 3. The next step is we're going to copy all of the data from our current block of memory into the new spot in memory that we've already allocated. 10, 20, 30. Finally, we're going to add this new value of 40 to it, and we increase the size by 1. Right? Now, this is the case when the size and the capacity are equal. Let's add one more element to this and see how it's different. If I push back 50 into this vector now, right? The size is lower than the capacity, meaning that I can just add new information to this. That's great. I don't need to allocate a new block of memory because there's already space been allocated for me. All I need to do is take the 50, put it in this location in memory, and then increase my size by 1. So I just add 50 there, and then I increase my size to 5 instead. And there we go. 2 different code paths that your pushback function will need to support. One being when the size and the capacity are the same and it needs to allocate new space, and then one when there is enough space already for it. Right? I would note that in this version, when it hits this section here and the size and the capacity are the same, I would highly recommend at this point just calling your built-in reserve function. This makes sure that your reserve function is operating properly, and it makes it so there's only one place inside your vector class where it's actually allocating new memory.